Okay, teachers, let's talk data. How do you collect? How often do you collect? Do you grade everything? How do you know your students know what you are teaching them? So there are three main types of data collection that I do with my students, and I'm going to explain all of them. So the first one is in-class assessments, DOLs, any demonstration of learning. I think it's important to note that a DOL or an assessment has to be independent, and it has to assess the skill that you're asking them to do. So if you're to do a reading DOL, they have to read the text independently. It cannot be a text that you have read as a class, right? That type of assessment is what I'm tracking in those green folders in this video. And that is what students are working on the day-to-day basis, right? That's where they're tracking those small goals that they're trying to make progress in over time. And that's related to our state standards. Now, we're not doing DOLs every day, and I don't grade everything, right? If I'm helping them in any way, then I'm not going to take that for a grade. I always just tell students that this is practice, to help you get better on those goals. I do try to assess each standard 3 times before I report out on it. So before I give students an official grade on that standard, I like to have at least 3 data points. The next type of data collection I do is those big tests that your school, district, or state is asking you to complete. So at my school, it is Dibble's Acadians, which is an oral fluency, oral accuracy test, and then iReady. And so we just do those beginning, middle, and end. Those are kind of our big benchmark tests that students are preparing for. And then of course we do state assessment since I'm in 4th grade, but I don't get to see the data for that. And then the third type of assessment that I collect on students is really informal, right? I think that teacher knowledge and teacher professional opinion should be really highly valued because you know your students best, right? How well is that student participating in class? When they're working independently, are they struggling, right? Do they need a lot of assistance when it comes to peer interaction or peer work related to a topic? So say you have a data point that supports that a student is performing lower, but then in class they're always asking questions, they're always rocking it, right? You can probably assume that that data point is inaccurate, and I would give a second DOL or I would give another opportunity to that student, measuring the student as a whole. I always explain to my students that data is just a number, right? But you are a person, and that's really important to me as a teacher, and that's really important to my students. Data helps us grow, but it doesn't explain who we are as people, kind of the whole capture on data. Let me know if you have any other questions. I love to talk about data or teaching related.